Yo, so I actually came across this guy who claims that he has reversed his hair loss in his 60s and actually experienced regrowth. And you would think that after years of losing his hair, since he said that it's been over 20 years since this has been ongoing, he actually managed to gain a good amount of ground. So yeah, let's have an analysis of his story, his whole philosophy around it, and see if we can learn something out of the discussion that is going to be generated while going through this. And by the way, I am going to put this guy on 2x speed since he does have a tendency to speak very, very slowly. And with all of that done, let's get into it.
Hi there, welcome to Invert Age. My name is Keith Blondin, just a guy. Yeah, it's just me grinding out my best health tactics and sharing the journey with you. I have a lot of good ones, pay attention. I just can't believe how great my hair is regrowing. It was such a drag losing it little by little every day since my late 30s. I'm 60 now. Yes, you can regrow hair in your 60s. I thought
Actually, that's very impressive because not only has he managed to regrow it, but also look at the color. I mean, unless he's dyeing it, it doesn't look like he's dyeing it. But if this is natural color, then there are several things that he would need to do right in order for that to be occurring. So I'm actually kind of curious.
I was screwed. That's just not how it is. You just need to know what the hell is going on. Most don't. Yeah, you heard me. Most don't know why they're losing hair. The hair loss remedy industry doesn't want you to know what I'm about to tell you. Why? Because they can't make any money from it. Also, if you know what I'm about to tell you, you won't need them, and that cuts into their BS remedy profits. But who cares when it saves your money and time? I don't need to go over all these cash cow remedies that produce minimal results. It's a pipe dream. Maybe you're also having side effects like your Willy Wonka isn't wonkering. If you're happy with the results and like spending money on these remedies, that's great. Enjoy your hair. We can talk about...
Just remember that if you've got somebody on finasteride who says that they have no side effects, right, there is a very high chance that two things are going on. Either they've never actually experienced what it is like to have vitality as a man because their baseline testosterone was always low since they live a garbage lifestyle, or they're taking steroids, they're injecting the testosterone, they're doing something synthetic to their body to compensate for the nuking of the DHT in their blood. Usually it's one or the other. So if you're somebody who is like maximizing yourself naturally and you've got good levels of testosterone naturally and you're doing all the good stuff, then finasteride has a way higher chance of affecting you than the two demographics that I just described, right? So just keep that in mind.
About DHT and all that, but it really all comes down to blood flow. You can take DHT blockers early in the loss process and it may work, but it won't regrow hair that has been lost. Earlier in...
I mean, that's one factor, but it's not the whole story.
Your stage of loss, the better, but you can even regrow it in your 60s like me. I'm mainly talking about male hair loss, but it can help females too. This is for typical aging-related hair loss, not for some rare condition outlier.
Anything that helps male hair loss is significantly more helpful to women as well, since they don't have the disadvantages that we possess. At the end of the day, all the bottlenecks that I talked about, since I've covered all of them, if a woman applies them, if somebody with alopecia areata applies them, if somebody with telogen effluvium, any type of hair loss, all the different bottlenecks which can lead to different types of hair loss, which some of them can actually have an effect on multiple different pathways, they're all covered within my regimen.
I did an earlier video on scalp fibrosis. You need to watch that one too. That video breaks down what scalp fibrosis is and how to address it. Link in details. I'll be sharing some new information like this powerhouse blood flow supplement with crazy results. I was blown away by its increase in blood flow. Bottom line, we want to wake up our dormant hair follicles that have been miniaturized so small you can't see them with your eyes. You may be able to see some with a magnifying mirror, but even then it's hard. These are called vellus hairs. These are the hairs that have been choked off from blood supply. They're just waiting for somebody to save them. Some will never get saved, and that's sad.
That's actually a good point. It's also is very, very life fueling for a lot of people who think that they can only regrow a certain amount of hair or that they can't gain as much ground as they would like to. Well, you don't know that because you don't know how many follicles are invisible and are still alive and waiting to be reawakened, right? That's why I tell people your expectations should be as high as possible because you don't know just how much of that follicular structure is just invisible and waiting to be regrown, as opposed to completely lost, right?
But that's on other people's heads, not ours. We will rescue our vellus hairs and revive them to full growth because we know how to do it. This is major. If you don't know about scalp fibrosis, you really don't understand male pattern hair loss. Scalp fibrosis is caused by scalp tension. This tension stresses the skin. This tension causes micro-inflammation that leads to micro-scarring and excess collagen, which chokes out the blood supply to the hair follicles. You may have even seen someone with a scar on top of their head from an injury where they're...
Okay, I know where he's going with this, but what causes the scalp tension? What, some people just have tension in their scalp and some people don't have tension in their scalp? That doesn't make any sense, right? There has to be a root cause to this scalp tension, and also where does DHT come into play? Because finasteride and like nuking your DHT can have a positive effect on hair regrowth, right? And why does the DHT get mobilized into some people's scalps, but not in other people's scalps? Again, as I've explained times and times again, in my model of hair loss, you start with scalp inflammation, which is caused primarily by toxicity in the body. It can be nutritional deficiencies. It can be obviously the use of toxic hair products. It can be leaky gut. It can be all sorts of different things that lead to an inflamed scalp, right? And this causes the mobilization of DHT as a counterattack to the scalp inflammation, to the oxidative stress in the scalp. And then the overaccumulation of DHT in the scalp, in the people who are genetically sensitive to it, leads to the scalp tension, right? Now, this guy technically is right. If you can stop the hair loss equation at the tension, as evidenced by the injection of Botox into people with androgenic alopecia into their scalp to loosen the scalp musculature, which led to significant regrowth. If you manage to stop it right there, then follicle miniaturization doesn't occur because the blood can actually come to supply the follicle because the scalp isn't tense anymore, and a tense scalp, a tight scalp, is what prevents the nutritional delivery to the follicle. So he's not completely wrong, but again, where does the tension come from, and how can we prevent the tension from occurring to begin with? And if the tension is occurring, what can we do beyond that? How can we nourish our hair directly if the blood supply isn't arriving to it, right? The more bottlenecks you tackle as part of that hair loss equation, the better results you are going to see.
Hair doesn't grow back in that spot. You need to know this. This is a key factor in most male pattern hair loss. The highest tension areas match up with the typical areas of loss, the temples, crown, and over the top, like on the Norwood scale. Highest tension gets lost first. The problem is there's no money in fixing it. Why? Because it's fixed for free. It's done by yourself with deep scalp massage. The only way there would be money in it is if you had to hire someone to massage your head. That sounds pretty nice, actually, doesn't it? But seriously, deep scalp massage breaks up the stiff, compacted skin to bring in new blood flow. Move the scalp around the skull. Don't slide your fingers around your skin. Fingers stay planted. Skin moves on the skull, like this. Don't do this. Do this.
No, none of these are correct. What you should be doing, and I might do a tutorial on scalp massages because everyone is just, I mean, look, the guy has gotten results from doing it the way he's doing it, but personally, and the way I've done it, and the way I believe that people should be doing it, is to pinch, to dig your fingers into it, and to aggressively pinch the skin on your scalp. That is what I found to reduce tension the best and to offer you the high level of intensity, which is important because if you don't want to spend your entire day massaging your scalp, then you need to apply a high degree of intensity, kind of like a very rough massage, in order to loosen those muscles properly, right?
The skin actually moves. Do it in your problem areas. You need to do it consistently, 10 to 15 minutes per day, every day. It will take some time to start.
Exactly, but if you're going to do that, you need to do it very intense. And the most intense way that you can scalp massage is, again, dig really deep and pinch the skin. It should be painful. You should feel it for a little while after doing it, right? And ideally, you want to combine that with your raw egg washing, obviously. So you're washing your scalp and hair with raw eggs. And while the raw egg is incorporating, well, you just leave it on the scalp for additional nutrition to be absorbed. That's when you'd also want to do your scalp massage, so you can work through two pathways at once, and you're stacking these habits together so that they are easier to implement.
Seeing results. You may start seeing results in a month or two, but here's another thing. It may sound crazy, but you need to do it upside down. Yes, that's right. Just hang your head over the edge of a bed.
Yes, he's actually correct about that. I've done that for an extensive period of time when I was seeking maximal regrowth.
It actually makes massaging easier because you don't have to hold up the weight of your arms. But here's why we do it upside down, for increased blood flow. I use an inversion table. If you have one, great. Plus, inversion tables have a lot of other health benefits. I did a video on that, link in details. Inversion is important, and it actually produces hair.
Yeah, basically, the best thing you can do is do yourself scalp massages on an inversion table, right? And ideally, before that, again, we are tackling the issue from every angle. 1 hour before that, you would want to consume all of your hair maxing supplements with butter or some kind of animal fat to increase the absorption inside of the body. And that is going to saturate your blood with powerful nutrition, especially if your diet is already good, so your blood is already kind of nutrient dense to begin with. You're eating your eggs, you're doing your 50 grams of liver per day or 300 grams of liver per week on average. You're consuming your red meat, your wild caught fish, you're getting your omega-3s, etc. Then you're going to have very nutritionally dense blood. So you couple that with nutrient timing via consuming all of your supplements 1 hour before doing that, and then you do it. Well, guess what? We're working through the blood flow pathway while also giving our scalp the highest quality blood flow possible. So he's not wrong, this is very good, but this is especially synergistic with proper nutrition and intelligent supplementation, right?
Regrowth on its own. I noticed that when I started out in the beginning of getting serious about health, I had a spine issue and would use an inversion table every day. I noticed new hairs popping outside of my hairline. It was a wow.
A lot of people have actually reported that, like whenever I was scouring on the internet to, you know, put this whole protocol together for myself, I noticed that a lot of people experienced hair regrowth accidentally just because they had to be put on an inversion table for random reasons that are totally unrelated to hair loss, right? That is actually a very, very common thing. If you don't have an inversion table, just kind of like angle yourself downwards on the edge of your bed, or do a headstand, or do a handstand if you can somehow keep that up for 15 minutes. If you can do that, please teach me, I'll pay you. But, or you can also hang upside down from a bar. I actually used to do that a lot, as I like to do calisthenics outdoors in the parks to begin with. So I just kind of slotted inverted hangs between sets to help with my hair regrowth, right? There's many ways that you can do it. It's more about the foundational principle.
Wow, eye-opener. Inversion is great. So pair up deep scalp massage with inversion. Do it at the same time. Wait, there's more. You need to injure your scalp. Why? Because we want to induce blood flow and stem cell activation. We do this with microneedling, a simple device you can get for about $20 on Amazon. Get a high quality one. You can use a stamp, pen, or roller. I use a roller with 1.5.
No, don't use a roller. It's dog shit. It's not precise. You can't change the needle length, you can't play with the needle length, which is terrible. And also the micro wounds created by the dermal roller are these crevices that are way harder to heal from and that give you no extra benefit other than potential risks of creating scar tissue, whereas the derma stamp, it's literally just spines that go down in a vertical motion. It is much, much better and actually penetrates way deeper as well. You can apply much more force than you can with a derma roller. But at least, to his credit, he talked about bi-weekly. That is a good frequency. I wouldn't suggest doing it bi-weekly at the start. You want your scalp to get used to this new stimulus to heal from it. But after about like 3 weeks, 1 month, you can switch to bi-weekly. And that is a very, very good frequency for derma stamping. I don't understand how people are still talking about, oh, just do it once a month or once every 2 weeks. It's like, no, you can do this stuff bi-weekly, even 3 times a week when you get really used to it and you're eating the proper diet, so like you're healing like Wolverine and everything. So yeah, at least he's got the frequency down, which definitely explains why he was able to get results.
5mm needles. There's more details on these methods with the previously linked video I mentioned. Make sure you check it out. So we have deep scalp massage while inverted and microneedling. This triple combo is enough, but we can make it even better, especially if it's hair loss later in life, which makes things harder. Next, we have some supplement additions. First up, I'll tell you about my newest addition, which
it can be enough for some people, but it's not going to be enough for other people who might need to also reduce scalp inflammation, who might need to, you know, actually change their diets, actually get rid of all the toxins inside of their body through, you know, detoxification, proper nourishment, and also supercharge their blood with good nutrition. So that the blood that they're bringing to the follicles is actually high quality and contributes to the highest possible amount of growth, right? So again, even though this might be enough for some people, it works best when you pair it synergistically with other things.
Which is a blood flow powerhouse. It's a vasodilator. Nicotinic acid, which is the pure form of niacin. Not just any niacin, you need to get the kind that produces a flush, temporary skin redness, Don't worry, it's only when you first start taking it. Your body adapts and it's harmless. It's actually invigorating. Some people love the flush effect. Take with some food and it's less likely to happen. My body adapted in a couple weeks. Now I take on an empty stomach and don't get the flush. Make sure you don't get the no flush version of niacin. It won't work.
I have never heard of this thing, which is very interesting because I've done a lot of research into this stuff, but this sounds like a synthetic drug which kind of works like oral minoxidil in a natural, well, it's not natural, but I guess perhaps it's not as harsh as minoxidil. Honestly, I'll just admit, like, whenever I don't really know about something, but regardless, even if I stumbled upon it and did more research about it, that's not something that I would implement anyways.
It needs to say just niacin. On the ingredient side of the label, it will say nicotinic acid. I take 100 milligrams in the morning. It's super cheap. I paid $8 for a bottle of 100 capsules. You can take it in the morning before you leave the house while starting out so you don't freak anyone out. Here's me on my very first time I took it, just a little red-faced. This was on a 3-day fast, by the way. My belly.
That doesn't sound very healthy, right? I do recommend certain supplements which do actually move the needle positively without any side effects, but like if something is going to cause you redness, if something is going to like create these kind of effects, you don't know what else this stuff is doing in your body. That this is very, very risky. I wouldn't do that whatsoever. But I won't deny that maybe it is causing vasodilation in the scalp or whatever. There's just many other methods that don't necessarily involve this kind of synthetic toxicity and these sort of byproduct side effects, which can also cause other issues internally, right? There's multiple ways to go about it. And again, he has also missed huge chunks of information which are conducive to hair regrowth. Like, how are you going to talk about hair loss and not mention what you consume, you know, like the actual building blocks that are constituting your hair? And that's the thing, the diet people, they're missing everything else. The blood flow scalp massage people, they're missing everything else. And it's the same with the no shampoo people, right? You will get the best regrowth once again when you stack everything, once you take these different things and you interconnect them and you understand how they play off of each other, right? And the link between blood flow and nutrition is very easy to understand as you're increasing the quality of the blood, which you are then supercharging into the scalp.
Belly was super empty. This increases NAD levels, which is a huge bonus. It can help lower cholesterol also. I want to explain.
Bro, just take NMN. Like, I actually recommend that. NMN is a really, really good supplement for increasing your NAD levels and increasing the mitochondrial function in your follicular cells. And since NMN is the direct precursor to NAD plus production, then you're going to get significantly higher amounts of it than in this supplement.
Explain this a little more. I've been taking blood tests and I need to make my finger bleed a bit to get out blood to soak a sample card for testing. I use one of these little finger pricker things that shoot out a needle, then it retracts. I haven't been able to get enough blood out with the 2 jabbers they send in the kit. Then I have to jab my finger a bunch of times with a sewing needle just to get out enough blood to soak the card. After I started to use nicotinic acid, just one small click of the jabber and I get more than enough blood. That shows you how it opens up the blood vessels. This also cured my Raynaud's syndrome, which is a condition that causes blood circulation in the fingertips to stop when it's cold. I did a video on that. Click link in details. I had blood circulation issues beyond the scalp, not sure the relation, but this shows you the power of nicotinic acid as a vasodilator. That's my point. There's some topical nicotinic acid scalp oils, but that's a way companies can cash in on this. That's the cash cow again. I think the oral capsule method is the best and it's super cheap. Some other supplements in my hair stack are in the amino acid family because they help with skin health. One way you can target all is just by taking collagen peptides. I take the Vital Proteins brand. It's well known to help with skin.
Yeah, I do recommend taking collagen as well. I mean, ideally, you want to get it from bone broth, from animal skins, from chicken stock. That is the ideal. But if you want something more convenient that, you know, you have easier access to or whatever, that is definitely something you can do. You can also incorporate that collagen into your hair masks as well to absorb it topically. That is also a good use of it.
Hair and nails and also joints. But I'm an old dude in full rejuvenation mode, so I take some more from the same amino acid family in capsules twice per day. So I'm actually taking some of these 3 times per day. Collagen peptides will get you what you need. Most won't need to triple up like I do. I do it mainly for structural issues like joints, but it will help with skin too. These others are L-arginine, another blood flow
That's true. Taking collagen is one of the best ways that you can actually anti-age your skin.
booster. It's also known as the poor man's Viagra. L-proline, L-lysine, glycine, hyaluronic acid, taurine. I also take saw palmetto. It's supposed to help with hair growth and prostate.
I suppose to help with hair growth. I mean, do you even know what saw palmetto does? Like, I would never recommend anybody to take saw palmetto orally, by the way. It is an absolute joke. The worst you can do is maybe apply saw palmetto oil to your scalp if you really want to reduce the concentration of DHT topically. But even then, it's very, very far down the line. It's not something that I really swear by. Because in truth, DHT actually fuels hair growth. That's what people don't understand. It's not like the hair on your head is somehow special. The only difference is that the overaccumulation of it due to the inflammation in the scalp is what leads to the tension in people who are genetically sensitive to it, right? But like if you got really high levels of DHT in your blood, but you don't have scalp inflammation, right? You have a healthy scalp and you're intaking proper nutrition and you're directing high quality blood circulation to the scalp, having high DHT will make your hair grow faster.
So if you want to implement what I've told you, you will regrow hair most definitely. How much depends on your commitment and your stage of loss. No, really, I'm not kidding. Even a guy with a 5 on a Norwood scale can see a lot of regrowth. The earlier you can target it, the easier it will be. You don't need topicals. They don't really do much. Minoxidil is a waste of money. I used it topically for 16 years. You could try peppermint or rosemary oil, but it's still mostly wasted effort and wrecks your pillows. Forget about all that. Just go for the full mechanical protocol.
I mean, it doesn't. If you have a silk or satin pillowcase, which you should, by the way, it's one of the best things you can do for your hair and skin as well. It doesn't wreck your pillows at all. But the key to rosemary and peppermint oil, as I've said many times, is to apply them at a high dose that is actually going to induce a high degree of blood circulation improvement. A lot of people take this stuff at 1% concentration when you can easily 10x that, and you can 10x that on both. One of the best hair serums that you can do is quite literally 80% castor oil, which is the best carrier oil for your hair. That also helps it grow, that also helps thicken it, that helps improve its shine. And then you add 10% rosemary oil and 10% peppermint oil to that, and that's when you can actually get a good amount of regrowth on natural topicals, not with a little 1%, 2% concentrations. Trust me, I've done extreme experiments. I've gone as high as 20, 25%. At that point, it gets excessive. At that point, you can actually get some form of irritation. Even then, it wasn't that bad, but it's a bit of a waste. So yeah, keep it to 10%, maybe 15% once you get used to it after a while. This is what I do nowadays personally. But yeah, the key to natural topicals actually working is to stop being a wuss and actually megadose them.
Protocol, and you will get kick-ass results. We didn't even have this knowledge back when I started losing my hair. Welcome to the new age of knowing reality. As always, be aware of the cash cow. It will always try to sell you a pipe dream. Hopefully, you will implement this into your hair rejuvenation and maintenance. I am very happy to teach you this knowledge from the bottom of my heart, because it's a drag when we see ourselves slipping away when it's preventable or reversible. If you found this video helpful, you know what to do. I will have many more hairs on my head in the coming months joining the ones I've already gained. If you want in, start today and don't stop. I'll see you soon.
Okay, so that was a fairly decent video. The guy did talk about some things that do work, that do play a role in this equation of hair loss, and seems like it has worked for him, even though he missed the big overall picture and the different kind of synergistic interventions that he could have done to improve the potency of the methods that he teaches here. But the main thing that I want you to keep in mind is that if this guy in his 60s was able to regrow his hair just using 5%, 10% of all of the available hair maxing methods, natural hair maxing methods that you can stack together and make work synergistically, then just think about what happens when you stack everything and you do everything correctly that I teach. What happens is my transformation. And for the people who start doing everything correctly, compared to me, who had to do a bunch of trial and error and figuring this stuff out and having to constantly face like doubt and fear and all these different things, basically everybody is at a better chance of experiencing much superior regrowth to me throughout my journey, throughout my timeline, and to this guy. And if you're serious about hair maxing, you know, reversing it naturally, improving the quality, the thickness, the shine, everything that it is about your hair, then I strongly recommend that you join my community. It's got my entire protocol that is super, super detailed about everything that there is to know about natural hair loss reversal, every single bottleneck that you can stack together so that reversal is inevitable. And I've also got other protocols which cover other aspects of natural aesthetic enhancement. And most importantly, you get direct support from me one-on-one, where I reply to all of your questions, all of the concerns you might have about personal implementation. We can just go over it together. And the community in there is absolutely amazing. If you resonate with my message, if you resonate with many of my videos and my outlook on life and everything, you are gonna love to be surrounded by people that are just like that and that just get it, if you know what I mean. Everything you need to know is in the description. But regardless, if you're still watching, I really appreciate you. And as always, keep ascending.